As I saw her first in the bathroom for a moment I thought the pregnancy was true, since her monologue seems fitting for that kind of situation. But I guess her identity problems in general and especially her having to pretend being Emily Thorne with Daniel and Amanda Clarke with Aiden are enough. Again we are back with reluctant Emily trying to get away as soon as possible from Daniel and Daniel being so in love and happy that it hurts to see. I like this shot of Daniel after she kissed him. It seems as if now he is finally recognizing that something is wrong with Emily. Seems not to be that easy anymore for her to fool him. And maybe she is not that good at it anymore like she was in season 1. I like that they use this worn-out feeling for season 3. Spoiler alert, cause the sooner the wedding is the more doubts Daniel has if he wants to spend the rest of his life really with Emily on his side. About Victoria and Conrad finally fight again. That was about time since the fights between Conrad and Victoria was something I missed from season 1, and it was odd seeing Victoria held hostage by Conrad with the initiative threat. Now that it is lifted it is only natural that Victoria tries to break free again. To be honest, Conrad is not helpful by being that concerned about his campaign without giving a damn how his wife feels by getting haunted of her past. Not only the loss of this child, also the abuse and the incident with her mother must stir up old wounds and long-buried memories. About Ashley colluding with Jack. As I said before, this was an alliance I had not seen coming but enjoyed very much. Since Eli left this fast, this was the second best alliance for Ashley to take down Conrad. And I love that she is wearing this red coat with those leather gloves. Her all-in-one leather dresses from the last episodes were too much edgy for me, but the leather gloves are not that over the top. What I also like that their alliance was Jack's idea. Emily's men really get improved by the end of the season and grew up. About the new flashback with Victoria and baby Patrick. I like how twisted revenge becomes again. Just when we felt sorry for Victoria that she had to give up her baby boy, we get to see why she really left him, for a scholarship in Paris. About Emily and Jack again. Though I do not like the repetition here, I like this pattern. Emily tries to check on Jack and baby Carl cause she promised it to dying Fomander. So she is not giving up even though Jack gets more and more hostile. Now seeing it for the episode talks, I believe they did this on purpose. They wanted their slow-boiling argument about the Graysons and Emily's lies to escalate till the season's finale. What is interesting too in this scene that it seems Emily is jealous of Ashley. I am still wondering if they got the idea for a potential hookup here. Would have been interesting cause at first look she and Jack have nothing in common but their hatred for the Graysons. About Declan and Charlotte in this next couple of episodes. I hate that she is obviously giving a damn about her and Declan's future. She even wrote a resume for her own application. Since in Germany it is all about grades and you have this thing called numerus clausus, we do not have such things as a resume. It is all about having the right average grade. For example, if you want to study medicine you must at least have a number 1. I studied history and German literature so my number 2 was sufficient. But if you have 3 or worse you will have to wait a long time to get a place at university. That is called waiting semester. Some get a real qualification during their waiting semester. For example, the ones who want to study medicine become nurse or paramedic before they start studying medicine. So the only thing I know about the importance of this essays and the some kind of job interview on your dream university I got from watching Gilmore Girls, which captured this frenzy very good I think, since for Rory and her frenemy Paris it was all about getting into the right university. Anyway, it was not helpful for Declan's and Charlotte's relationship that her new frenemy Regina intervened till the end of the season. I think Regina is the kind of person Victoria accuses Emily of in season 3, a bottom feeder. She wants to belong to Jet Set and get something of the attention Charlotte has as a member of the Graysons. They used it several times during all seasons. I think they never quite covered the problems of being in public and living a public life as member of a family with this hard and fast changing reputation. First there was this coverage about Victoria's and Conrad's marriage and the romance between Emily and Daniel in season 1, which changes very quick with Daniel's trial and Victoria's efforts to let the FBI investigate Conrad and Grayson Global. Then in season 2 we have this ongoing campaign of Conrad to become governor, in which he drags again not only Victoria but his whole family. Spoiler alert. And in season 3, when Emily is finally marrying into the Grayson family, she gets dragged in all this, too. A little foreshadow is her TV interview with Daniel. In season 1 she was still standing at the sidelines even though she was Daniel's fiancée. Now she is sitting together with him before the cameras. But we get to that later in this episode. About Nolan's little cartoon. I like that they are mixing the funny and the sad in this scene. Nolan has still to cope with Padmé's loss, but yet he is this playful when it comes to working with Emily on her revenge agenda. So I think his little message for the Falcon was fitting for his childish humor and fun he has when Emily gives him a task. About Takeda being back. I knew when Trask fired that bomb on Aiden that Daniel would dig deeper. It is a good deal of precaution because he still tries to frame Aiden, but also a good part jealousy I see here. It was a nice trick bringing Takeda back for this, since he is the one who wants to have his students in check. I wonder why he did not came sooner, since Emily seems not to succeed that much in her revenge mission and Aiden was no big help either. It is funny that not the initiative but Takeda exposes Aiden's secret heritage. At the beginning of the season, with that story about the David Clarke check and the origin of Emily's money, I was sure she would have been disposed by the end of the season. Maybe only to Daniel and he would have kept the secret, but I was sure somebody would get to know about her secret. Then after Formunder's death I was certain she would tell Jack. Spoiler alert, which was true in the end, but I never saw it coming that Aiden's father would have been a problem. I must admit I thought it would have been an open secret, since Daniel, or at least the Human Resources Department, would have had all the documents and facts about Aiden from his former employee. As it is usual when you hire someone, I mean that Daniel cannot make something with the name Mathis is clear, since he was not involved in the David Clarke conspiracy. But would not the initiative, Conrad or anyone else at Grayson Global push the panic button if his father would have been such a problem? Or maybe it is Daniel who makes this up to make framing Aiden more plausible and easier for him to do. About Nolan fighting against the Falcon. It was fitting that Nolan not really fought with the Falcon and they only took this out virtually with a computer game. It may be not that interesting and thrilling as a real fight, like the one we saw with Emily and Gordon Murphy aka the white-haired man in season 1. But Gabriel Mann made the best out of this scene. His performance was brilliant and he delivered those cheesy lines with so much emotion and authenticity that I almost cried. And I liked this twist here that we all, Nolan and Emily included, thought this hacker must have been a man and there is this little fragile woman waiting for him. Now it is no big deal to shake such gender roles up. It is almost anticipated. But back in 2013 this was pretty new. By the way, I really like his outfit with the lobster jacket. While she looks like the cliché of a hacker and stoner kid, Nolan looks like he is coming straight out of the 80s. The last twist with Emily blending in with her black hoodie was just perfect. And Nolan's quote about caring for people only makes you stronger is one of my favorites from his serious ones. Spoiler alert, after Takeda's death, Nolan really grows into the role of a mentor for Emily. Especially in season 3 when he tries to make Emily see when she is going too far. About Aiden's fight with Takeda. First of all, I loved this bar. The scenery they found for this scene is really great. Second, I hate that Takeda is again trying to discipline one of his students. In season 1 it was Emily because she fell for Daniel. Now it is Aiden because he cares for Emily and wanted to save his sister. Sometimes Takeda is really heartless, which made me think that he is just using those little kids for his own purpose, but we get to that later when Aiden, Nolan and Emily discover his biggest secret. For now he seems to be some kind of right, since he warned Emily in season 1 that emotions would only stand in the way of her revenge and she would fail. And season 2 looked a lot like failure to me. Depart from the assistance of Patricia Barnes and Jack, who pushed Conrad into the corner of publicly announcing that he would not stand in the way of a new investigation of the David Clarke trial and a possible pardon from the president. Emily and Aiden were not so lucky. Instead they helped the initiative to get carrion and kill 2 innocent people in the process, with Padma and her father. Daniel had become CEO of Grayson Global and only himself and Victoria to thank that he got rid of the initiative threat. Conrad is on the brink of power with becoming governor of New York. I like that Aiden is not objecting because he thinks they can do better. He wants to be there for Emily when she realizes that revenge brings her no peace. Many criticized these utterances of Aiden cause it contradicts all of the premises of the show. But I think the show can stand it and grows with this diverse views on revenge. And you have to have some of Emily's allies who doubt her and her revenge agenda. Otherwise the audience gets too much wrapped up in this. We have to see the other side not only through the eyes of the Graysons. Because it is not very likely that revenging is a good and healthy idea for your own personal life. It was also interesting to know, since Aiden killed 2 of the people who were responsible for Colleen's kidnapping and death, what he felt and what he thinks about revenge now he had tasted it. I was surprised that he was this honest with Takeda and knew right from Takeda's face that this was a grave mistake. But I must admit I loved when Nolan, Aiden and later Jack disagreed with Emily about her need for revenge. It seems as if she is never questioning this, at least till season 3. In season 1 she is so focused on her revenge agenda that there is no place for doubt. And in season 2 she has so much on her plate that she just has no time to think about it. About the interview with Emily and Daniel. I like this scene not only because I like Emily's blue dress in my favorite color. They capture how every one of her potential love interests react to this. First Aiden, who is watching from their hiding spot and surely awaits her statement about her rekindled relationship with Daniel. And then there is Jack, who should not have seen this and is totally devastated by the upfront lies Emily is spinning for the sake of her revenge agenda. On one hand I can understand why he is that mad and Emily is sad that he saw this firsthand, but on the other hand I ask myself, how could she not expect him to see this, since he seems as obsessed with the Graysons as she herself lately? So he surely would have watched this interview on TV and must have stumbled onto her interview with Daniel. So why was she not prepared to face him? Emily's call was pointless since she was again not ready to tell him the truth. Jack could possibly not understand her and her actions without knowing who she really is and what her plans with the Graysons were. In this case Emily was just too frightened and again chose revenge over Jack, so his reaction not wanting her anywhere near his family was totally understandable. Back to Daniel and Emily, I like how happy and handsome they both look. Like a commercial for the perfect couple. And I love the cuts between Emily's and Victoria's face. I can imagine what Victoria is thinking right now, and Emily seems again to enjoy teasing her with the fact that she can manipulate her son that easily. Nice was how Daniel looked tense. He was not that sure what she would answer. It seems as if he is not so sure if Emily wants him back, perhaps because he is well aware of his messy family and deep down in his heart knows that he not as good a catch as he might be on the surface. About Charlotte partying and kissing with Regina. I do not know if she just was reckless and careless or if she wanted to punish her parents. 'Cause of all evenings to make such a mess in public, Charlotte chose the evening of this interview. As she lies to Declan about being held captive for the safety of the family reputation, this intends for me that she is doing this on purpose, not to hurt Declan, which she just forgot, but to hurt Conrad and Victoria, who give a damn about her safety and well-being. They only address her when she has done something wrong or when they ask for a favor. They even cancelled on her birthday, so in season 2 they both are really the worst parents to Charlotte. And Daniel is not even better since he totally forgot about his sister's birthday. About Conrad's and Victoria's interview. I love this scene. It is like watching a car crash. You know it will happen but you cannot turn away. And I like her red floral dress. The color and the form-fitting cut makes it look aggressive like most of Victoria's dresses, but the fabric and the flower pattern gives it some fragile quality, very much like her dress for Daniel's interview in season 1, the burgundy one with this very sexy neckline. It was right after she had get to know that Conrad ordered David Clarke's murder. Like here with the flashbacks to her first pregnancy, she was in a very fragile and hurt state at the time. I like how they blur her out for the question and zoom in for her answer, something they surely would have done on live TV as well. Her just admitting it was surprising. I think now that she was faced with her loss again, Victoria is just fed up by this charade. And since this interview and the campaign were only important for Conrad, she just ends this right now. Nolan's comment was again hilarious, since that would have been a great commercial spot for revenge itself. The real takedown of Falcon was not so special, but I like the fun Nolan has in this scene. He really enjoys being part of the game again. But as I said in the episode with the first return of the red Sharpie, I enjoyed more the simultaneously crossing out with old school paper and red Sharpie, and Nolan on the other hand at the scanned photo on his computer. I like that Emily is the one who tributes this to Padme and Nolan takes David. Shows how much they both care for her father. About Daniel pushing Emily to make a decision. I can understand why he is pushing her. They both get not younger and he seems to be certain that she is the one since season 1. Otherwise he would not have proposed to her. And he cannot know the reason why she has been so reluctant. She has to consider Aiden's feelings and tries to hurt him as less as possible. About Conrad and Victoria after the interview. I think he is genuinely frustrated and disappointed, not only because this caused a big damage to his campaign right before the vote. No, it is the lie and that she kept it a secret even after he asked her twice about the pregnancy. And after all, Conrad is a family man, so he is humanly disappointed by her. Who would not be if they had known she abandoned her son for a scholarship? About Victoria turning to Nolan for help. I knew she would search for her son. It was just too intriguing to get the chance of introducing a new spawn of her, and the story was just too intriguing, too. The only surprise was that she turned to Nolan. I guess she could not reach the Falcon and therefore turned to the only hacker she had known. And since he still is one of Grayson Global employees, Nolan seems to have been an obvious choice for Victoria. Her secret was already out, so what else could he spill to Emily? I like that she wears this white coat she wore in the first season finale. Makes her look vulnerable and less intimidating. I think that must have been a reason for Nolan to agree to help her. She looks really desperate. About the last scene with Emily and Aiden. I like this little scenes, reminds me always how twisted Emily's plan for the first half in season 3 was. She really has the guts to ask Aiden if she allows her to marry Daniel. On some level this is sweet, cause I really think if he objected she would have told Daniel that she cannot marry him. About the optics. I like this opening with Emily at the window and snowing. They really try to make us believe that we are on the East Coast where they have all 4 seasons like here in Europe. In season 1 we had those fake icing on the windows, how it is more subtle with this fake snow. And of course they are all wearing these beautiful coats and gloves. I like that we got a new close-up of the ring. I still do not like it, but it makes the question clear. Should Emily or should she not agree to marrying Daniel? Aiden's reaction was smart. He tells her why he thinks Emily wants to marry Daniel. In short, to take the Graysons down from within. If she agrees, he knows that she is just doing this for her revengenda. If she does not answer with yes right away or objects him, he knows there is a bigger problem and Emily truly has feelings for Daniel. And I just loved the answer of his last question, what she will do when this is all over.
I can be with you.
Now it is a rhetorical question, but for him it is important to know, cause in the meantime he not only waits for her but supports her as good as he can, putting that ring back on her finger and telling her she should marry that son of a bitch was just such a proof of his love and understanding. And it is so funny cause son of a bitch is quite literally the best description of Daniel and Victoria. Sealed with a kiss, this scene makes every Emily fan, namely me, still happy. I wish they had become their happy end in season 3, especially since they got so many problems and roadblocks on the way.